Hey guys, it's Matthew here from Hearing Tracker, keeping you up to date with all new hearing aid technology. It's been almost 6 months since the FDA announced its final rules for over-the-counter hearing aids over in the US, and I've learnt quite a lot already. Over the last few months, I've been working closely with WSA about their partnership with their new Sony-branded OTC hearing aids. And I've gained access to some preliminary, exclusive over-the-counter research, looking at the impact that OTCs have had on the hearing technology world. And you know what? Today I'll reveal which of my initial theories were absolutely spot on, and the others which I didn't quite get so right.
Over-the-counter hearing aids.
Over-the-counter hearing aids.
Over-the-counter hearing aids.
Over-the-counter hearing aids or OTC hearing aids.
For those of you that don't know about over-the-counter hearing aids, you're in for a real treat today. Up until last year, the traditional route to be fitted with a prescription hearing aid would involve visiting your local audiology clinic, having your hearing tested, and then having a hearing aid prescribed and fitted by an audiologist. So, what changed exactly? 5 years ago, the concept of over-the-counter hearing aids was born, and believe it or not, has been in the making since then. This essentially means that as of October the 17th, 2022, any tech company can sell a product labeled as an OTC hearing aid directly to the public, without the need for you to see an audiologist beforehand.
Millions of Americans can now save thousands of dollars because they can finally get a hearing aid over the counter without a prescription. Look.
Now, this is a huge deal for many, many reasons, and I could sit here and merrily chat to you about them all day long, but I won't because I've done that already in this video, so it's worth checking out if you're interested. For me, the biggest reason comes from some of the very interesting numbers coming from the National Institute on Deafness and Other Communication Disorders covering hearing loss. They report that in the US alone, less than 30% of adults over the age of 70 with a hearing loss have actually tried a hearing aid, which is a huge number. So in a group of 100 people, that means that less than 30 of those people who could benefit from a hearing aid have actually tried one. And it's even less for those between the ages of 20 to 69 at 16%. If we expand on that, looking at the population for the whole of the US, that's 28.8 million people. Yes, 28.8 million people that could benefit from a hearing aid but don't. Now let's put that number into perspective. The home of the Green Bay Packers, the Lambeau Field in Green Bay, seats 81,000 people. So if you filled that football stadium over 350 times, that's the number of people in the US alone that would benefit from wearing a hearing aid but don't. So the huge question, which I know you're all probably thinking right now, is why? Why do people choose not to wear a hearing aid? I think I can break this down into 5 main areas. Firstly, people just not feeling ready, which really branches out into these next 2 areas as well. Next, thinking that it will make them look old. Also, people being worried about what others would think of them. Number 4 is the cost of hearing aids. And then finally, people thinking that there's nothing wrong with their hearing and that everybody just mumbles nowadays. Out of curiosity, if you're sat at home not wearing hearing aids now but know you have a hearing loss, I would absolutely love to hear your reasoning. So would you do me a favor and drop that in the comments beneath this video to help me to expand my knowledge on this as well. Now, at some point, those people out there with hearing loss overcome their concerns and anxieties, or their hearing loss becomes so bad that they have to do something about it. MarkTrack, the company who analysed this kind of data, cite that the average age of people purchasing hearing aids in 2022 was 60 years old, which, quite positively, is an improvement on 1989, in which the average age was 67 years old. Now, this is where my recent conversations with WSA start getting interesting. Their early research on those buying the Sony CRE C10 and the Sony CRE E10 is lower than that figure at 59 years old. And when these buyers were asked how long they first suspected that they had some form of hearing loss, they answered between 3 to 4 years, as opposed to the figure for traditional hearing aids, which is around 7 years. Now, yes, you're probably thinking that this is only a year's difference, but in fairness, we're only a few months into the birth of Sony's over-the-counter hearing aids, and it would take a little bit more time for awareness of OTC hearing aids to grow, and for people to find out that there's an alternative to prescription hearing aids. But the exciting thing is that some of my OTC predictions from previous videos was pretty spot on. I genuinely think that with OTC hearing aids, the age of people starting to manage their hearing loss will, without question, come down. Plus, people are clearly starting to look after their ears sooner, so OTCs are definitely doing their job. So, if you're sat there thinking, But so what, Matthew? What does it matter if I start wearing a hearing aid now instead of in 7 years' time? It doesn't bother me if I have the TV turned up or if other people have to repeat themselves in a noisy environment. I see exactly where you're coming from, and this is why I think that videos like this, raising awareness of the negative effects of an unmanaged hearing loss, are super important. Believe it or not, an age-related hearing loss actually begins a lot earlier than we think, but it tends to affect the tones that are so high that they don't affect your ability to hear speech. This then continues as you get older, and as you enter your 50s, it starts to have a significant impact on your ability to hear speech. And the thing about an age-related hearing loss is it doesn't happen overnight. If it were to happen overnight, believe me, it would be pretty terrifying to notice that significant drop in your hearing all in one go. It is, without question, incredibly important to start managing a hearing loss as early as possible. I'm a big advocate for regular hearing tests. I mean, we test our eyes regularly, and I'm pretty sure they're as old as our ears. Yet ears seem to be massively neglected. Why is that? So what are the negative impacts then? Research shows that there are several negative effects of having a hearing loss and not wearing hearing aids. These can include things such as poor mental health, social withdrawal, diminished cognitive function, and even dementia. According to The Lancet, which is a world-leading medical journal, hearing loss may well be the cause of up to 8% of dementia cases. 8%, which equates to roughly 800,000 global cases per year. Think about it. That's almost 1 million people in the year that could potentially reduce the chances of developing dementia by wearing some form of hearing aid technology. Almost 1 million people. Now, knowing this, there are countries outside of the US, such as the UK, in which the government will provide 100% free hearing aids. As this isn't something that the US government do, this is one of the biggest reasons that I think that the OTC hearing aid movement has come about in the US. And therefore, I'm delighted that big brands such as Sony have joined the over-the-counter hearing aid race with their big marketing budgets and the fact that they're known for their quality. They're also used to selling directly to consumers, and this has already started to grow awareness of people looking into hearing aid technology. It's encouraging people to get their hearing tested and then has given easier access to people buying them, i.e. online, for example, which, FYI, I'll add a link to both of Sony's hearing aids in the description to this video. One being their CRE C10, which is designed for discretion, sitting neatly in the ear canal, and then the CRE E10, I feel, is designed for functionality, sporting directional microphones, Bluetooth, and rechargeability. Surely you can't help but think that they look pretty cool, and this will definitely help with any stigma associated with wearing hearing aid technology. If you're interested in more updates on over-the-counter hearing aids and developments in this field, then make sure you press that subscribe button and hit the grey notifications bell. Now, one of the things that I predicted about OTC hearing aids that I didn't quite get right was the social acceptance of them. Is the world ready for them just yet? Could you see yourself wearing them around the dinner table in a restaurant with friends? While Sennheiser are hiding them in plain sight to look like a cool set of headphones, naturally, if I was with company, I would feel the need to take them out. If I had to explain to the person sat in front of me in a restaurant or the person interviewing me for a job that it wasn't an earbud but a hearing device, then it ends up drawing attention to the device, which is the last thing that most people who have a hearing loss want to do. I predicted that the world wasn't quite ready for hearing aid technology being quite as large as the CRE E10s, with my thought process being that I couldn't personally see myself wearing them around the dinner table in a restaurant, for example, with friends. Or if I was interviewing for a job, I'm not entirely sure that I'd want people thinking that I was wearing an earbud. Could it be interpreted that I was wearing headphones? I don't know. Well, discussing this with WSA, I've been informed that their sales of the CRE E10 and C10 are pretty much 50-50. For me, this clearly demonstrates that yes, discretion is super important for 50% of you out there interested in OTC hearing aids, and the other 50% are focused on the additional features that come with dual microphones, rechargeability, etc., etc., of which you can see a full breakdown of both of these hearing aids in my feature reviews for these products, which I'll link in the description to this video. I'm also really keen on knowing what you guys out there think as well. Which is most important to you, discretion or having all of the bells and whistles? So drop those thoughts in the comments beneath this video. And while you're at it, I'd also love some feedback on what you think of the pricing as well that we're seeing from these guys. So one more question for you. Who exactly are OTC hearing aids for? OTC hearing aids are designed for over 18-year-olds with a perceived mild to moderate hearing loss. If you have a child with hearing loss or are yourself under the age of 18, you need to not only see an audiologist, but also a wider multidisciplinary team to manage your hearing loss as effectively as possible. If you also have anything beyond a mild to moderate hearing loss, then you'll need to investigate traditional prescription hearing aids. And I've reviewed plenty of those out there on the Hearing Tracker YouTube channel, so be sure to check them out, as there'll be something that can significantly improve your hearing. So, OTC hearing aids are here to stay, and we're just at the beginning of the journey. Sony have a 45-day return period, so if you wanted to try them out, what do you have to lose? Look after your ears. Interestingly, the statistics coming from Sony about people actually returning their OTC hearing aids show that yes, they are having some returned, but this is no more than they would expect from a traditional hearing aid route, which is encouraging that people are actually keeping them. I hope that you found this video useful, guys. Check out my other videos on this channel reviewing these OTC hearing aids and for more tech updates like this. And make sure you subscribe for more videos like this too. I'll see you in the next video.